We know each other. He's a friend from work.
Hell yes, I get to ride the dragon.
What the hell's wrong with you people?
I know Kung Fu.
Tank, you want to switch? You want to switch?
No, I'm good. I got it.
Stay down.
I could do this all day.
If you had to transform into one mythical creature and then get married to a different mythical creature.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Maximum effort.
How about a magic trick?
HR.
Not an animal.
HR. Is HR.
Somebody call HR down here.
That man is playing Galaga.
So, hey, Jason, you're back. You made it back just in time.
Did he leave?
Or
To start the show.
what show?
Our show.
Oh.
Well, that's all the time we had today, guys. Thank you guys
All
for
right,
tuning
guys.
in.
Well, I'm gonna go back and watch the game, but if you want to stick around, welcome to the world of. Wrong show.
What?
Let's try this again. I haven't done it in a long time. This is new to me.
Yeah, there's
Again.
a clock in here.
Welcome to the weekly escape.
Can you hear
Your
this
weekly
clock?
escape into the world of geeks, nerds, and I haven't done this in so long, and all I'm thinking about right now is that Atlanta United is tied with Toronto FC, and by the time anybody listens to this, it'll already be out. But most nerds won't care. So,
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. I'm like trying to get the score up on my other screen, so that way I can semi-listen to you guys, but also
What's the time
make
in
sure
the
Atlanta United
game?
makes at least to the MLS Cup. So with that, I'm Jason Miller, and with me as always I've got Josh Tankersley,
What up, what up, what up?
Naru Igbaje,
Hey, what's up?
and Brandon Slip hit his face so that way we don't have any video. Brandon Miller. Exactly. No audio either.
I hear we hear him laugh.
Brandon, if you're making facial expressions, we cannot see them.
I'm not. I am talking, and my microphone's not working.
There we go. We hear you
Hey,
now.
there it is. So
That was
hey,
way
if
after
thirsty,
I
go
said
ahead
it.
and pop those bottles, unless you're driving, in which case I'll join you. Drink out of the cup, you know, get a roadie to go.
Oh yeah. I don't know if this glass is big enough to put the whole bottle in. Let's see.
Oh, you're pouring it into a glass.
It's a
Dude, I was
frosted
just
glass.
kidding. You like, not everybody has to put it in a glass.
I know, but I wanted mine. If you believe the internet, you're always supposed to drink beer out of a glass.
Really?
That's for you rich people.
I am drinking
Mine
a
typically
Stella.
comes out of
so-
a can.
Well, when you're drinking a Stella, you know.
When you're drinking a Stella, that's because you have nothing else in the house.
No, what? I love Stella. Shut up.
All right. Well, other than drinking crappy beer, what have you been up to, man?
No, save me for last because what I've been up to is going to
Okay.
give us a good transition.
Okay. Naru, what have you been up to? Wait, before you get into what you've been up to, I saw a really interesting post on, was it Twitter or Instagram?
I like that shirt.
Whose shirt? Naru's shirt?
Naru's, sorry.
My shirt.
I think it was on Twitter, but Naru had actually watched My Hero Academia.
Oh,
You
that's
guys-
right.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember where that post was, but I saw it.
The naysayer.
What did you think of that? Before we get into what you did, what did you think of My
The
Hero?
worst anime to start off on.
That's pretty much what I did last week. You jumped ahead and jumped into it. I was gonna say, I decided I was gonna kind of look into anime, and My Hero Academia had been on the list of things I wanted to kind of get into together with a few other things. But what happened was I think it was last episode, Tank said something about some new issues or something like that of My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
And I just thought, you know what, screw it. Finally, I'm going to just start watching. And I checked on Hulu, and Hulu has a fantastic lineup of anime shows. I had no clue.
Yep.
Because I posted online, and then people started suggesting other stuff to watch, and almost everything suggested is on Hulu. So I just started getting in and I started watching My Hero Academia, and it's super entertaining. Like, it's really good. Like, the core concepts behind it. I found also it's something I kind of watch with the kids as well, you know, like
Oh yeah.
certain parts you got to say, okay, just ignore the blood coming out of the good guy's mouth all the time.
It's not too.
But beyond that, it was really good. And I thought,
don't
okay,
shield your kids from that. People bleed.
yeah, they do, but they don't have to find out about it till later. But I was like, yeah, man, I was really impressed. I thought this was really good. And then I stumbled on, you know, a whole lot of conversations with other people about My Hero Academia and anime, and now I have like 18 different things they all want me to watch. So.
Dude, it all starts with one.
No,
Yeah.
it can all start with one. But once you find a thing you like Tank watches all the anime.
I watch a lot of
So does
anime.
Mike. But I only watch like certain things.
What? Like what?
Tank's like, oh, this is great. And I'm like, maybe not for me.
Yeah, but does it have robots in it? Then I'm good. That's Jason's.
No robots. No.
That's Jason's question to every anime I bring up. Does it have kung fu or does it have robots? No, I'm good.
Oh, and then I found somebody commented and said, yo, if you like that, you got to watch this. Because I think I started watching Saint Seiya on Netflix, and it just seemed a little too, you know, a little too CG, too boring-y type stuff. And I tried watching Dragon Ball Super in the hospital. That was brain damaging at some point. Like there's just elements of that. Like the fight would take 20 minutes for no real reason. I'm like, this was just ridiculous.
No, see, Dragon Ball Super, I think.
Dragon Ball Super is only for people who used to love Dragon Ball Z.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
So basically, you're saying
Dragon
I stumbled
Ball,
on the wrong one.
Yes.
Okay. I'm willing to give it a second shot the day I stumble on Dragon Ball Z. But I
Yeah.
was in the hospital. I wasn't feeling good, and it popped up, and I thought, okay. I gave it an hour. I'll never get that hour back, but it was worth proving that I won't like that show in particular. And then I stumbled on My Hero Academia and thought, this is good shit. This is some good stuff. So,
see, like,
yeah.
I almost think that Naru would like Gundam, like the real Gundam, because it deals a lot with politics and stuff like that, and like it's not just violence.
All Gundam is like super political.
I kind of started watching Gundam. I started watching.
Unicorn?
There's a Gundam I started watching on Netflix. Don't recall what it was now, but I was impressed enough to give it, 3 episodes in. But I've just never been able to get back, find time to go back to it. But the thing I have found that I want to binge is My Hero Academia.
Go-
It's kind of interesting.
Go
So,
watch
I'm
Gundam 00.
Gundam 00.
Yeah, that was good.
And 00 is the best Gundam season.
No, I still say Gundam Wing is the best, but it's good.
Nah,
They're
dude,
all- they're all really
I went back and tried
not all.
to watch Gundam Wing, and it didn't work out.
The art is tough to watch. I'll admit that.
I also found a really cool fan video that was done based off of My Hero Academia. There's these guys who do movies. I was super impressed. Like the fandom is rich, and there's some super talented people putting out some great stuff as well. So I thought this is yeah, man. This is
It's a good one, man. It's a good one to get into.
It definitely is.
It's on their 4th season. So
thanks, Tank. Yeah, thank you.
You are welcome. And I was sitting here trying to think when I saw that post. I was like, man, what other anime would be good to watch like after you're caught up on My Hero? But the problem is,
people dropping like a lot of people on Facebook and Demon Slayer. I'm like,
that's true. That's
okay.
That's probably a good one. Because I was sitting trying to think. The problem is a lot of the ones that come to my mind are kind of some deep cut anime that you kind of have to be a little bit just like enjoy the fact that it's an anime.
Like,
not all of them, but
he could watch Akira, right? Like,
see, I've never seen Akira.
Everyone can enjoy Akira.
Yeah.
Or like Cowboy Bebop.
That's
and
true.
Those are like.
Yes, that's the second one I'm watching now. I started watching Cowboy.
Oh no, dude!
A couple days ago.
No, dude! You have to watch Samurai Champloo. That is an amazing.
See-
anime. It's very few episodes, but it's a mix of like a hip hop culture into anime, and it is beautiful and one of the only animes I've watched multiple times all the way through.
Yo, I also think we're going into a big anime rabbit hole.
Oh
here.
yeah.
But, yeah, there's like
This is the first time I don't mind.
there's a lot, but I know that it's not like Japanese anime, but it is styled after it. I
Yeah.
love Afro Samurai, and I will watch that like
Oh,
over
yeah.
and over again.
What samurai?
Afro Samurai?
Yeah,
It's got Samuel.
That's the
Afro
one.
Samurai's
That's the one with Samuel L. Right? Isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I love it. That one's so good.
It's funny because typically if Samuel L. is in it, I want to see it. That's
Oh,
tells
Avatar: Last Airbender.
Ooh. I actually watched 3 episodes tonight with my kids.
Nice.
You know, it's funny. I've seen
Yeah,
some
Avatar
of the shows without thinking
It's
of them
great,
as anime.
especially to watch.
True. Yeah. Sometimes they just feel like cartoons.
And that's and Brandon was trying to say Avatar is another really good one to watch with your kids. It was on Nickelodeon.
Avatar is one I used to watch back in Nigeria, actually. But
Really? Yeah, no, that show's
I just
crazy
never
good.
thought of it as anime.
Yeah.
because In
It's
my
like-
mind, anime is the stuff where you punch somebody, you yell for 15 minutes before you hit them. You know, that's
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
That's dope.
Okay, so
I got a whole bunch of stuff here. You probably should look through this list, Tank, and tell me what I should.
Well, you know what's funny is a lot of those like older classics like Cowboy Bebop and Akira. I've never watched those animes for whatever reason. I've just never got around to watching them. I don't know why.
I've seen those.
There's this
But-
guy who keeps trying to get me to watch Boku no Pico. I said no. Like I
don't
took
know that.
one look at it
Oh.
and I said, oh hell no.
Brandon, what have you been up to? Flying all over God's
Oh, it's a
green earth?
hentai anime. That's why.
Well, my microphone, my microphone is lagging like super late because it's really awkward talking to you guys because you're like quiet for a minute, still listening to what I say after I finish saying it. So it's really, really weird to me. But I've been flying around everywhere.
Because where are you
Now
at
I'm
right
in
now?
a place that has very bad Wi-Fi. I'm at my grandfather's house in North Georgia, like
North
far
Georgia.
North Georgia.
Gotcha.
And there's no like hard line
Yeah.
like Wi-Fi, like our internet to the place, and there's a storm, so the like satellite is barely picking up Wi-Fi majority of the time. So that's why everything is lagging super hard.
This is like doing
Yeah,
a
I've been
recording with
flying
somebody in
around
Nigeria.
to Nashville, it's like all the news anchors when they're like, "Oh, how's it going down there? Front line at the tornado." It's like, "Oh, it's good. It's good. It's good." 5 minutes later,
There's always that like
after you see them get blown away.
So,
Yeah.
because you've been on flights and all of this and going all over the place, have you been taking the Switch with you? I know when you first got the Nintendo Switch, you were like, "Oh, this is for all these flights." I just want to see if you're maintaining that.
I got the Switch for when I'm on flights by myself. So I've been on flights with Alex this whole time, and so I have someone to talk to, and I'd kind of feel like a jerk if I was like playing one player Zelda, like just in front of Alex while we're like sitting on a
See,
fly. And just
But
like,
you
"Oh,
can
watch this
detach
face
the
off." So I
Joy-Cons,
haven't,
right?
on these flights, because we like watch a two-player game, but I also don't want to play Super Smash Bros. For 4 hours or like Mario Kart for 4 hours. Those are 4-hour games.
He's doing something. Aliens
but-
are taking him.
I was drawing and practicing drawing on an iPad.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's-
but like sketching iPad sketches and stuff is really difficult. So I was actually doing that a ton on all the flights. Try to get these skills up.
Getting them
Way harder
skills.
than it looks.
Bow staff skills.
Nunchuck skills.
Yeah, that's about it though.
Girls only like guys with skills.
Really
So-
nothing cool though.
I have been diving deep into like Well, not deep. I've been running around. We're recording on Wednesday. Brandon and I had a lot of stuff, and that's why Brandon's in North Georgia. We had some stuff we had to take care of, family-wise. But I've been watching on Netflix. There's a new show that's a Korean show, and it's called My Country: The New Age.
Huh.
It's super, super interesting. And at first, I had no idea where it was because it looks like a mixture of like Japanese buildings and then like the Chinese countryside, and then they're all dressed like Japanese people, but then it's like their swords look Chinese, and I'm like, what is this?
And then they said, welcome to Korea.
Yeah, right? I was like, what is this? It was like, oh, welcome to Korea, where we don't have our own heritage. We just stole everything from everywhere else. And it makes me want to go to Korea, because I'm like, well,
Wait, they
like,
actually
you just have
say
the
that
best
as
of
a-
everything. Like, why would I go to North Korea? Here I come.
No, really. Hold up. Did they really say that in the show? Or you just coming up with some to troll our Korean fans?
Oh yeah.
Hey, Kim. I'm gonna come over. We're gonna hang out. Like that movie, The Interview, and we're gonna sing Katy Perry together. Yeah, no, but so it's got me like super interested in the dynasties of like Korea and to learn that heritage because the show is super interesting. But I'm also reading. So like when I read actual like books and novels, when I find one that's good, it like absorbs all of my time.
Oh, dude, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like you read some books and you're like, okay, like I'll read it when I'm bored or going to sleep. But this one, I'm like, I wake up, I'm like, you know what? I could read this while I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah.
I can read this like while I'm on the pooper.
Yep.
Like, it's called. I think I've talked about it on here before. A Hero Born by Jin Young. It's super, super good. And yeah, it's about like Chinese martial arts and, you know, all of that stuff and the changing of the dynasties and stuff like that. So, not like cartoon or comic book nerdy stuff, but like Asian heritage nerdy stuff. And then I asked my grandmother, because we had some time together. My grandmother's from Taiwan. And I was like, you know, does Taiwan have any, like, cool heritage? She goes, I don't know. I was like, you don't know. Like, come on. Like, give me something. Like, I bet we had some cool, like, dynasties on this, like, 2-mile-long island. It was like, no, I don't think so. Like, what do you mean you don't think so? Like,
that's funny.
What is the history?
They have, like, natives there and stuff, though. So there definitely was something. Because when I went over there, we went to like an area that was like, oh, this is what it was, and it almost looked like a Native American like setup. Is almost what it reminded me of like the colors and the stuff. It was really weird.
From what I've learned, it's like China used Taiwan the same way that like England used Australia.
As a prison colony.
Send people to the island, and then like once they started having their own families and stuff, that's when they became a republic. So if you look at it on some old maps, it still says the Republic of China.
Huh.
Taiwan, the Republic of China.
Well, like whenever China was becoming communist, the republic that was fighting against communism escaped to Taiwan and then created a government there. That's why like a majority of the people who live on the island were also of Chinese descent, because they were the ones who wanted to be free and they were trying to leave mainland China because of communism. So that was like part of it, but I don't know what happened before that on the island, because there were obviously people on the island before all these Chinese people just came in and took over, kind of.
Yeah.
So
we're here.
What heritage then?
Sorry.
What's that?
Those people, the ones who were on the island when the Chinese showed up, like, did they just all disappear? Were they assimilated? What happened to them?
I mean,
they were sent to America.
They're still there, right? Those are the people who are like very proud. Yeah, those are the people who are like very proud of like as being like native Taiwanese
Like
people. I don't know where they came from. to begin with,
Some-
or whatever.
Right, 'cause
I
they
mean,
had
they
to
probably
come
still came
somewhere.
from mainland China just a long time ago.
They have like different dialects,
didn't
just like
just
anywhere
grow
else.
on an
Naru, you know this, like different dialects, you know, and like some Taiwanese speak Cantonese and some speak Mandarin.
Oh wow.
Like it's
But,
But,
some speak Taiwanese. It's like
yeah, and
its
then there's
own language.
Taiwanese, like, but
Which
then
is like a
some
dead
don't
language.
get offended if you call them Chinese, but
Like
some get like,
Latin.
super offended. It's just one of those things. But yeah, so I've been diving deep into tons of really like martial arts history because I really don't care about like government shit. Like, let's be honest. If it's not violence, I really don't give a shit about it. All right, Tank.
Such a
What have you been up to, buddy?
All right, so, and this is gonna lead us down a rabbit hole, and that's why I wanted to go last. So, I have a question for you guys, and I want to know your honest answers. Do you think we are alone
Rosie
in the
O'Donnell.
universe? That's actually applicable. Do you think we are alone in the universe?
No.
What do you mean alone?
Like,
No.
do you think humanity, are the only sentient beings in the universe?
Fuck no.
A dog says no. I don't have a dog.
Thank you, Naru. Thank you.
I don't have a dog.
You got to get better with that question, man.
So,
Do you think
So,
Earth
so-
has the only
Do you
sentient
think Earth
life?
is the only inhabited?
inhabitable planet, right?
Well, it's proven it's not the only inhabitable planet. I mean,
Or, but like, yeah, so like with
No.
sentient,
Unlikely to be.
Inhabited.
inhabited. That's fair, yeah, and actual,
Yeah, not
we got
no, that's stupid.
right. So, do you guys
inhabited.
right? Do you guys know who Bob Lazar is?
I know that.
So
No.
he's this guy who came out in like 89, 90.
Fuck.
Uh-oh.
Toronto's 2-1
Oh,
over.
look, no one gives a shit. This is cool shit, right? So he comes out in 1989, and he goes to the public and says he's been working in this like subsection of Area 51 called S4, where
Right.
he was working on and hands-on and was able to touch and they were trying to figure out alien technology, right? This gravitational propulsion system that we have no idea how it does what it
So
does.
the bell?
What's that? Wait,
Is it the bell?
the bell.
The flying saucer. It looks like a giant bell.
That's that. Yeah, the one that he says in this area
It's a-
in the hangar there were 9 different.
stored there.
Yeah, there were 9 different like spacecraft of all different shapes. The one that he was able to actually get in this like propulsion system that he was working on came out of was like a disc shape.
I found out about him. Joe Rogan interviewed him recently.
Yes. So I did this really fun Joe Rogan black hole where I started with Kevin Smith, and then I did hang on, let me pull. I'm gonna get. It was a commander.
Oh my gosh.
No, not
Have you
Snoop
seen the
Dogg.
Joe Rogan interviews Roe Jogan?
No.
It's Joe Rogan and Joe Rogan, and they just like spliced it, and it's him asking himself questions and answering his own questions. It's like the best 9 minutes of your life.
That's great. So I started with Kevin Smith, right? And then that led me to this Commander David Fravor, who was a Navy pilot. I think he started as a Marine, but it was a pilot who actually was sent there. He was on a training mission. Oh, we just lost Brandon. He was on a training mission, and in the middle, and they basically stopped the mission, sent him and his wingman out to go find this unidentified object, and literally saw this unidentified craft and got within half a mile of it, saw it, him and the wingman, for 5 minutes, and basically, and then he said when he went down to get to it, it stopped what it was doing, basically mirrored his path. So he's coming down to it in a circle, this thing's coming up in a circle, so he cuts across, and when it comes in front of his nose, it blinks out of sight. Both planes lose it. It shows up 60 miles back towards the ship where they were supposed to be heading back to anyways, and the radar guys in a matter of seconds. Now, this is not some like crackpot like conspiracy theorist, right? Who's like, oh, I think I saw this, and they put something up my bunghole. No, this is a decorated military like pilot who is corroborated by three other pilots that were in the air with him at the same time. This is incredible stuff. And then that led me to the Bob Lazar, Joe Rogan interview, which led me to the documentary on Netflix that this guy did with Bob Lazar about all this stuff. I've always wanted to believe that aliens were real, that galaxies, the universe is too big for us to be the only things in it. But the idea that America, the government, has this technology that is so far advanced of us that we don't even know how it's doing the thing that it does is one of the most fascinating things I could ever come up with. I've spent, while I was working, I had Joe Rogan playing all day today, listening to him interview these people. It was the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen, like right out of Star Trek. Oh my god, I could literally go for the next hour about this. It's so cool.
We know.
Okay, so here's the thing about people like Bob Lazar. There's almost always people out there who have had experiences, and they're credible people, like military guys who've seen stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that's happened and seen that we can't explain or don't have explanations for yet. And those guys come up and say, well, this happens, this happens, this happens. When enough people tell their stories, it's always possible for one person to come out and tell a story that connects just enough dots to lend credibility to what they're saying, but also they have too many gaps in their underlying foundational story. For example, Bob Lazar has claims about his educational background and things he's done and all that stuff, which very easily can be said, you didn't do it. There's proof you didn't do it. Stuff like
so
that.
They talk about that.
Like,
you need to watch the documentary because they go and Joe Rogan's thing because they talk about that. He got a call from essentially his government handler and was like, when he went public with this, and he's like what were the words he said? Something to the effect of,
he says he had a call from his government handler.
Oh, look, we can debate. I will turn this episode into a Bob Lazar episode, but
a little skeptical. That's all I'm saying.
And so I would be, but what finally? So the Pentagon has come out and said that the videos that Colonel Favor and some other guys have put out are real videos. The U.S. government has been tracking these unidentified objects for years off of the coast. They come from as high as our radar system will go, 80,000 feet, drop down to about 20,000 feet, float there stationary for several hours, and then go back up. We don't have anything that can float stationary for more than maybe an hour, hour and a half. And the government has said, right? The government has said these are real things that is going on. That is the Pentagon.
I never said that wasn't true. That's not what I said. I said there's enough stuff that's happened that people like him show up that have enough credibility to make the rest of us go, you know what I'm saying? Like people like him kind of take away from the credibility of people like the U.S. military. Like, yes, exactly. Yeah. There's people out there, right, who their credibility is 100%. People like him, their credibility is a lot less.
Why? But Bob Lazar?
Yeah.
Because
hold on. Let me read something to you. Like, check this out. This is a statement here. Adding apparent credibility to Lazar's testimony were persistent reports chronicled even in the respected aviation week and space technology of bizarre lights over the test site, craft maneuvering in ways beyond the capacity of our known technology. These reports are almost certainly genuine. His tales, on the other hand, are almost certainly bogus. Investigations have raised serious questions about his reliability. His claims about his education and employment cannot be verified, and his character has been proven to be questionable multiple times. So my point is, I'm not saying the stories and the issue is a problem. I'm saying people like him are the problem.
We'll come back because I can tell Jason wants to move on, and that's fine. I wanted to take
huge rabbit hole.
I wanted to take the alien aspect, and that was going to be our
episode 1 to first part.
I want to touch on, before we go down this alien rabbit hole, I do want to touch on a different rabbit hole that is still nerd related.
Oh my god, rabbit hole 2. That's good.
So Oh gosh, what's the guy's name? From Ghostbusters.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd.
Not Bill Murray. Aykroyd.
Aykroyd.
So he came out and said he had an alien experience.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's known for this. Like, he came out and said, hey, I saw this. And he saw it, like, I guess a couple nights before he went on the Johnny Carson show. Then, right as he was walking in, because then on the Carson show, he says it long before Will Smith ever made a movie about it. Two men in black suits came up, sunglasses on, and they wear black hats, and told him that he cannot talk about anything he saw related to anything alien related. Like, and then he went on the Carson show and he was like, I just got, these people just came to me outside and told me I can't talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. And he's like explaining the Men in Black. So like in your alien rabbit hole, Tank, dip a little Men in Black in there, because I jumped in that rabbit hole. There's so many.
What if he only told us part of what he knows? They probably neuralized him. Probably neuralized a chunk of what he knows.
Well, like there's so many where it's like you jump down this rabbit hole and it's like, oh no, like this person said that they saw something, and it's a credible source, because like Dan Aykroyd wasn't trying to say like, oh, I got probed in the butt or something like that. He was just saying like, hey, I saw this property.
Don't know what it is.
I saw this, and they were like, no, you can't talk about it.
Well, and
now,
that's
he didn't say it was alien. He didn't say
right,
but he definitely said they seemed government. But it was like, it could have easily been, oh, you can't talk about it because it's a government, like that's our government test site. Over there, and you can't talk about that.
Yeah, so there's some crazy stuff. I've got like 20 minutes left in the documentary. I didn't get to finish the documentary today, but the longer, the more time that passes from specifically talking about the Bob Lazar story, the more time that passes, the more things keep coming out to be true. Slowly over time, these little bits and pieces, people come forward, or like pieces of technology that he talked about in '89 that he's trying to describe to people, and they're like, oh, there's no way that's real, is coming to light. Like, oh yeah, no, that's a real thing. Like the Pentagon says, like, yeah, we used that at the time. And so it lends credibility to the idea that there are, one, beings outside our galaxy, two, they are more technologically advanced than we are, and three, we have some of their technology. We have it and are trying to reverse engineer it. And if we can, hello, Star Trek.
Let's go from reverse engineering. Dude, Star Trek gave us these.
And Star Wars gave us what? Nothing. I don't have a lightsaber that works.
So I still don't have a fucking lightsaber. But anyway, let's jump down this Star Wars rabbit hole and talking about things that may or may not exist. Let's talk about the next trilogy. Because it may or may not exist.
It is going to be a conspiracy theory.
It is 110% a conspiracy theory. So, the writers that were doing the new Star Wars trilogy,
the guys from Game of Thrones.
David Benioff and D.B. Weiss.
Thank you.
Yep. D&D.
It's
D&D.
The most hated D&D in the world.
So I heard something, and I thought it was interesting because, they caught so much shit for ending Game of Thrones the way they did. Like, so much shit, right?
Oh, yeah.
That they're like, no, guys, they ended it that way because of Star Wars. And then it's like, okay, please don't mess up Star Wars. We understand that. But now you're not doing Star Wars, so you fucked up Game of Thrones. And you just quit Star Wars. Whatever you're doing for Netflix better change my fucking life.
Yeah, they quit because Netflix gave them like a 9-figure salary to come do stuff for them.
$100 million.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, I can't even wrap my head around that much money. That's insane.
I think it's 250. That's just nuts.
I heard today it was $200 million from Netflix.
That is insane. Like, that's stupid money. Like,
now they're doing a Magic the Gathering thing for Netflix.
Oh, dope.
but I don't know. That's all we know, is that they're doing it, and it's Magic the Gathering.
Sweet.
We don't know if it's a show, a movie, like a cartoon, a live action. We don't know anything about it. But I'm just saying, I was kind of upset because I heard rumors of what their trilogy was going to be, and it was going to be before. Like, so, do you guys know a lot about Star Wars, or?
I know more than the average goer, probably, but not a ton.
Nuru?
A fair amount.
Okay, so there's a game called Knights of the Old Republic.
I know
You guys
of
know
it.
that game?
I know of
Yep.
it.
Okay, that's like there's a Jedi, like the Jedi Temple where they're training on their planet.
Mhm.
Like everyone goes to this planet to train at the temple, and it's
Yeah.
not the temple that you see in Episode 1,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like that's something completely different. This was like,
Because this is like way in the past, right?
yeah, this is like pretty much like Jedi and Sith are like at their peak. Like there are hundreds and hundreds of both.
This is pre-Yoda, right?
Like maybe Yoda was younger.
Young. Okay.
Maybe Yoda was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Yoda was definitely younger.
Yoda has smooth
Wasn't
skin.
Yoda like over 100 years old or something like that?
What? He was hundreds of years old. He was
Oh, and
much-
Yeah,
when he
okay, so
died?
hundreds. So Yoda would definitely be in it, but not like there is no Skywalker. There is no like Obi-Wan Kenobi probably wouldn't even be in it.
900 years
Or
old.
Qui-Gon Jinn. Like it would be interesting to see Qui-Gon as like a Padawan during it, or like at the end Qui-Gon comes in. You know, like how they tie in
Yeah.
Episode 1 or something like that. But it was supposed to be that, and that actually excited me a little bit. Like seeing all the Jedi and like the different color lightsabers, like the rise of the Sith, like how they actually started.
I would love to see take the last 10 seconds of Rogue One with Vader on the starship, right? And like give us a fully fleshed out movie, series, whatever, with the effects and like the lightsaber battles and the full on combat that could be these Jedi fights that we get little hints of in the prequels. We don't get a ton of it in the original 3, and then of course Rey's still trying to figure her shit out. So I would love to see like the Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Darth Maul type fight, but even like take that up even one more notch of
Where
like
they know what they're doing with
through and through. Right, these are like, you've got the like Yoda aged Jedi, but like they got old at the height.
Like you're actually right. Like in the entirety of Star Wars, we have not got to see, other than the Qui-Gon Jinn, Darth Maul, Obi-Wan fight.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
well, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan fought a few times prior to that together, but you haven't really seen a Jedi full force.
Obi-Wan versus the robot dude with the Force sabers. I can't think of his name. General, what's his face?
General Grievous.
Yes, that one was pretty good. But there, as far as like good, good Jedi versus bad Jedi fights, there's not that many. There's really not.
Well, if you
Because
think about
Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader doesn't really count.
the first 3 movies were
fencing, baby.
like,
Right.
so the fight choreography,
Right.
in the first so in episodes 4 through 6,
Uh-huh.
the fight choreography was based off of knights. Like he was like, okay, we're gonna fight like knights.
Yeah.
But in episodes 1 through 3, he was like, I really just want this to be like flashy, over the top.
Right.
Matrix had come out.
Right.
He's like, we have to do something. So he's like, let's do ninjas,
Right.
fencing,
Like a
and like,
wushu, yeah.
flipping and all this. And that's not really how they would fight. It would be almost more like knights.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
in 7, 8, 9, they're doing more of the knight stuff with Kylo. But Rey, yeah, like you said, she's still trying to figure her shit out.
So
like, we
maybe
don't really know what she's doing.
Maybe in this last movie we'll get a good lightsaber fight, but
the thing that I'm saying is, Luke got trained by Yoda for like, what, 6 months?
if that, yeah.
Like he didn't go to the academy,
Right.
Like
Dagobah.
And I don't count 1 through 3 as real movies. So you have like 4 through 6. Oh, let's say 4 through 9.
2 and 3 were okay.
Well, no, they weren't. Let's say 4 through 9. You don't have a real Jedi that was trained proper, that knows all the ins and outs. Even Anakin in the new series, where he's old and he's the elder and he's like the shit, he doesn't even know all the ins and outs of his power because he was trained for like 6 months.
Well, I think in the comics and books later, he did do a couple years with Obi-Wan.
No, but what I'm saying is that would be like me saying like I know everything about my martial arts.
Right.
And I've trained for 16 years, but I know everything.
Right.
But I don't. And it's like
versus the guys who are 100 years old have been training their entire lives, right?
Right. Where it's like they know why everything lines up that way and how to use your momentum and your force. But it's like, for me, it's like, oh, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think that would be cool. But I think Naru could get onto this. Naru, what would you say if they kind of filled that gap with another movie almost like Rogue One with no Jedi?
I honestly don't know, because I got to admit, in as much as I wanted to see them pivot away from this whole Skywalker dramedy, I'm a fantasy guy, you know, so having the mystical elements of it appeals to me. Having that blend with the sci-fi is one of the things I like about Star Wars. So I would like to see them do justice to a Star Wars story that exists with all these elements. Just take out the whole Skywalker thing. Let's see who else is out here.
Yeah.
You know, let's see what else is out here. And I think the fact that they hired these guys initially, D&D, and then they also had Rian Johnson developing his own trilogy, I thought, okay, there's no way this can all be Skywalker, right? So they must be looking to explore some new stuff, and I was looking forward to seeing what that was. So not having D&D, I mean, I didn't give them as much shit as most people for the last season. I just think it's ironic that, you know, of Game of Thrones. I just think it's ironic that they're leaving Game of Thrones where it was because they want to do Star Wars, and now they can't do Star Wars because they signed this huge deal with Netflix. And apparently, from what I read somewhere else today, the Lucasfilm crew, Kathleen Kennedy in particular, was like really ticked off. Like, wait, you guys want to do Star Wars and Netflix? You're forgetting we now belong to Disney? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like trying to do a Marvel movie and try to be the tentpole director of, you know, do an Avengers movie and then go direct Justice League. Like, it would just, it would be like, what are you doing? Like, we're trying
to choose a side.
Yeah.
Right. So I really think that's what happened. And as far as the type of movie going to come out now, I think for all the criticism they get, we're going to lose a lot in terms of something really different in Star Wars. That's what I think. I think Rian Johnson is going to come out and do a really good trilogy if they let him do it. I just don't think it's necessarily going to be, you know, well, let's put it this way. I think he's going to do something fresh. That's what I expect. As long as they let him walk away sincerely from legacy shit, like the Skywalker stuff.
Kevin Feige also has a movie. It's not a trilogy.
Yes.
Star Wars, but Kevin Feige does have a Star Wars movie coming.
Really? Yeah,
I'm curious about that.
Johnson or Feige's movie will fill that 2022 gap that was supposed to be episode 10. So, well,
which are you more excited
10, but you know, in the same.
Which are you more excited for? A Feige Star Wars movie or a Rian Johnson Star Wars movie?
Personally, I would say Feige. Like, I think Feige could lay a groundwork that is brilliant. Like, with one movie that could branch off. Like, so right now we only have this, and then we have the side stories, right?
Yeah.
But I think he could do one that's a side story that would create another. So it's not just like this linear thing with like little bubbles off. It would be like
a full branch.
That would be great.
You know what I mean?
That would be great. That's actually a good take. That's a very good take.
Kevin Feige has the Midas touch, man. Everything he touches turns to gold. So
the Disney touch.
I mean, he was doing it in Iron Man 1. So like Iron Man 1, out the gate, he came out, him and Happy, Favreau, crushed.
Favreau?
Yeah, crushed Iron Man 1.
Is brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, he's a brilliant man.
And so, like, in Feige we trust. I will, without seeing, you know, like, as a first reaction, trust anything Feige puts out until he puts out something bad. But until then, at first glance, it's like, no, if Feige's on it, it's got to be good until he proves us wrong, and he hasn't yet. So
now, so are you guys excited about The Mandalorian and all the Star Wars shows coming out for Disney Plus?
Go ahead, Nur.
The part of me that misses Serenity, that whole
Firefly,
that whole grunge space story set in grunge space, is excited for it.
Is that what this is supposed to be like?
What?
Is this supposed to be akin to Firefly?
No, it's not. But okay. I said
the aesthetics of it.
The part of me that likes that whole lived-in space story.
Yeah.
That's the same part of me that liked, what's that anime you talked about?
Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy. That's the part of me that really liked Cowboy Bebop, and that's the part of me excited about The Mandalorian. The Star Wars fan in me is not big enough to go yippee over this. You know, I'm not crazy over Boba Fett type clones and shit. That doesn't excite me. But I am thrilled to see a story set in space that could take us cool places and see cool stuff and see some anti-heroes doing some cool shit. I want to see that.
That's how I am. Like I'm not so deep into Star Wars that, like, you mentioned Mandalorian and I wet my pants. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, Boba Fett was cool. He was in half a movie, like, whatever.
He didn't even say shit.
I know, like, so, and then, like,
I think Boba Fett is overhyped, but I'm excited for this because Disney has been, like, pushing this. You know what I mean?
Well, it's either two things.
Hey,
it's Jon Favreau's baby, baby.
Yeah, we're coming out with Disney Plus, and The Mandalorian drops day one.
So
it's like, I think it's going to be a really good series because they're like, Disney would not do this half-ass. You know what I mean?
So that statement I pretty much agree with, but and it kind of almost counteracts the statement I was going to make. Is the way they're pushing it's kind of a two-headed coin, right? They're either pushing it because it's amazing, or they're afraid that it's not, and they're like
Aladdin.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, like they just over, you know, put it out there so to get people in, knowing that it's really not as good as we want it to be. And I liked Aladdin, but I agree. They put so
Aladdin
much out.
Overhyped because people, especially in a day and age where movie theaters are going down, it's like, okay, well, I'll go see Lion King. There was almost no push for Lion King.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like, I'll go see Lion King.
Right.
Like, no, you need to go see Aladdin too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it was a bad movie. I'm just saying, like, if you had to choose between Aladdin or the Lion King, you would go see Lion King. So it's like, you know, people.
I have a question for you guys.
What's up?
Hang on, real fast from the chat. So someone mentioned Sabine from what's the show? What's the Star Wars TV show? The
Rebels?
Yes, with the kid.
Oh, Rebels. Yeah.
Yeah, Sabine is a Mandalorian, and so aggressively relaxing. Who? Welcome to the show. I don't recognize your name. And I like Aladdin too. But he mentioned Sabine, and Sabine, I haven't watched all of Rebels, but I do remember enjoying Sabine's character in that show.
I do like Rebels.
Yeah. I do too. I just don't follow it as much.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new story, but like again, what's the name?
Rebels Sabine?
No,
aggressively relaxing is the guy.
All right, chillaxing.
Yeah.
So okay, super bad. Rebels is great, but to me, it still falls in that it's two Jedis because if you follow Kanan,
nice.
Kanan wasn't fully trained as a Jedi, nor is
the main kid,
the kid he's training.
Yeah,
like neither of them are fully trained Jedi.
Yeah,
Kanan was left when he was like 10. Like the whole thing there is great. He's one of my favorite Jedi, especially when he gets blind. But there again, it's not a fully trained Jedi, and that's I want to see like an Obi-Wan whooping ass, which by the way, Disney Plus is doing a Obi-Wan series, so maybe we do get to see Obi-Wan kicking some ass.
Ooh,
Definitely. That's
not what's his face, but do we get
Ian McGregor.
No, I know, but do we get Anakin? Not the actor, but do we get the character?
Oh gosh, I hope not.
I don't think we'll get the actor. I think he's. But if it's a younger Obi-Wan, and we get that in between episode 1 and 2 Anakin, where we see them, in the trenches in the Clone Wars.
I think it's before. No, it can't be before Anakin.
Because he finds Anakin when Qui-Gon dies. So.
You know what I hope?
After that,
I hope it's between 2 and 3, where Anakin was like still a Jedi,
right?
But he was like traveling that dark path, and Obi-Wan's like, "You done fucked up, dude."
Can like start seeing the seeds of it.
So like you don't see Anakin all the time,
right?
But when you do, it's like them butting heads, so you can like feel the resentment,
So my question from earlier. You guys all like Rogue One, right? Star Wars story.
Yep.
Oh, I love Rogue One.
How come they're not giving the team that did that something else to do?
That is a good question. Because not only do I like Rogue One, and Disney should just trust in me and do everything I say, Rogue One was a successful Star Wars movie.
Right.
Like, it was a massive hit in the box office.
Critically, too.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's a beautiful movie. Like,
gave us the best live-action Darth Vader ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm like, what's up, guys? Gareth Edwards, what's up?
Yeah, he crushed that.
He hasn't directed anything since 2016.
Oh wow.
That's so I'm like, crazy. Seriously, what's up with that?
Maybe he took that check to the bank and he was like, "Fuck y'all."
Right? Fucking, I'm just gonna sit on these royalties, bitch.
Maybe Disney's been asking him like, "Hey, can you do a Rogue 2?" And he's like, "No. Once you hit that home run, you just sit on the bench and you finish with a good score."
Fuck that. He's at the beach sipping Mai Tais.
Record right now.
It's like he was a sci-fi or visual effects guy. Like he did I know he did the Godzilla movie in 2014. Then he did that. It was like, whoa, this is good. And I'm like, what else, dude? Come on, do something else. Like, and then nothing. So in my mind, I'm like, hey, give him a Marvel movie? I don't know.
A Marvel movie
or DC movie? I don't know. Give him Justice
Real
League.
Quick, we'll segue out of Star Wars because I do want to touch on this. Naru brought it up, which I'm not going to play it because I think it's only for PlayStation. What do you think about the story for the Avengers game?
I don't know anything about it.
I don't know. I think it could be good. Like, the story they're going with now seems to be taking the direction of they're trying to focus on Ms. Marvel as the protagonist, kind of she's going to be like the spider person, the point of view character into everybody else, and bring everybody back together after the world has dumped them. I think it's an interesting parallel that they're doing the whole, a terrible thing happened, and then 5 years later.
Well, I think it's great that it's a terrible thing happened, but the Avengers did it. Like, or they're getting blamed for it.
They're blamed for it, which, I mean, that's classic comic book, though, right?
Yeah, I think that's what I like about it. It feels like a comic book story.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like it was written for the big screen at all. It feels like a comic book story. Unbelievable. How are you gonna believe the good guys suddenly became bad guys? No. But whatever.
And in this medium, I think that they can actually go dark like a comic book would, because Disney can't really go too dark in the movies.
Right.
You know, like Infinity War was kind of dark. Endgame was kind of dark. Like, you know, talking about, you know,
that was Disney dark.
But the video game can go super, super dark. You know what I mean? Just like a comic book. And I think that that's going to be cool storytelling. But let's get into a little bit of Disney. But really, like, it could be their biggest competitor in 2020, and that's HBO.
Yeah.
I live in a bubble. I didn't know anything about this either.
HBO Max. So HBO is releasing a
I had to
new
Google.
app, a new
Like every
service
fucking body else.
HBO Max. Well, the difference between HBO and everyone else is HBO has signed contracts with Turner Broadcasting, so they have TBS, TNT, was it Cartoon Network? They also have Crunchyroll, so all the animes will be on there. They have like tons of stuff and HBO exclusives. So they have Turner Broadcast System, like a couple online entities and HBO, and they're going like heads up with Disney.
I don't know.
What do you think about this?
I mean,
did I mention they bought DC too?
the
DC will be on HBO Max.
DC is going to produce like 10 or 11, 8 or 9 movies, I think.
This like them getting DC tells me they're going heads up with Disney Plus, who has Marvel.
Yep.
So what do you guys think about this?
Hearing you explain it, makes me a little more interested in it. At a glance, it just pisses me off. Like, at this point, I'd rather just go back to paying for fucking cable, because I'm paying so much money for all these damn streaming services. That that was the whole, like, that was like almost the entire appeal when like Netflix first, shifted to the streaming service. So everybody's like, fuck cable, I'm just gonna go to Netflix because all that shit's on there and it's a quarter of the price. Well, now fucking you're paying more for all these different streaming services because everybody's like, oh look, Netflix made a shit ton of money, maybe we should do the same thing. And it's like, this is like, at this point, fucking, I'm just gonna pirate everything and be done with it. So.
Well, you're definitely gonna pirate this.
My brother,
I want to hear Naru's take on it.
My brother and I were talking about doing a spreadsheet of all, like 2020 is going to be the year we decide, okay, we got a plan. Like, this is all the stuff we want to have. This is what we want to spend. Combine what we got and basically just divide by 2 instead of family sharing across the board and try to figure out how that works financially, because I want Disney Plus, I want Netflix, I want HBO Max. The reason I want HBO Max is because I heard they're going to be doing, well, pretty much the entire DC's future is going to be tied to HBO Max in some way, shape, or form. DC Universe is likely going to be going away because a lot of the stuff we're seeing there now is going away. Among the things that's coming out in HBO Max that excited me no end is...
Wait, because I think this is what Tank is going to pirate or buy HBO Max for, so pay attention, Tank.
Okay.
All right. Green Lantern, a series, live action. It's going to be produced. There's going to be a Strange anthology. It's called the Strange Anthology. Basically, it's about Adam Strange and his interactions with DC superheroes. Live action. Now, that's the good news. The bad news, or depending on how you feel about this, is it's going to be produced by Greg Berlanti.
One of the writers for the best Green Lantern movie ever.
Well, and the entire Berlanti-verse on CW.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
However, he's also the guy behind Doom Patrol and Titans.
Like fucking everything that DC has their sticker on.
I guess what you can say is when he can do some corny shit, he does corny shit. When he does brilliant, innovative stuff, he does that too. Which one we're gonna get on HBO Max, I do not know.
Flip a coin.
I was watching The Flash just to see what it looked like nowadays. Literally before we started this, I almost puked at some point. I'm like, oh god, this is the same. This is just terrible. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I honestly don't know what I'm gonna do next year. The only solution is to divide and conquer, guys. We gotta come together. Come together.
Yeah, we're gonna have a nerds
nerds from work. We can't pay for the shit that we need to keep the show going. How the hell are we gonna start paying for all these streaming services?
Gosh, I think like Disney already has my money because I have kids. You know, like you get all the Disney movies. Like you get their whole library.
Right.
You get like National Geographic. Also, I get Hulu and ESPN Plus.
Right.
So Disney has my money. You know what I mean? But HBO Max, Brandon and I went in. We got DC Universe All Access or whatever. Not impressed.
Yeah.
Like Titans, cool, love it. Doom Patrol wasn't for me. Swamp Thing is cool. Reading comics on my TV, fuck you.
That's weird.
How are you doing it on your TV?
Well, they have that option.
They did. I know. It was kind of weird. So I just did it on my
I'm like,
I read on my tablet, on my phone. It's really good.
I was like, fuck that. I'm not reading it.
What about South Park?
I'm not doing that.
South Park.
So, I think with HBO Max, like, the Crunchyroll, like, unlimited anime, but right now
Studio
I have
Ghibli.
Crunchyroll for free.
Studio Ghibli. I've never seen a Studio Ghibli movie. I really need to.
I've heard so much about them, and then all of a sudden I hear they're buying all 21 animated features, streaming exclusively on HBO Max.
Okay. They're supposed to be
what now?
the Studio Ghibli films, the like Princess Mononoke or whatever, and
Wind Rises,
Spirited Away.
Yeah.
They're like
Spirited
they're supposed to
Away.
be like the creme de la creme of anime movies, and I've just never got around to watch. Because again, it's that to me, that's one of those Cowboy Bebop, Akira, old school anime stuff that for whatever reason I just never got into. I kind of probably like some of the older stuff that I've watched is like Gurren Lagann and like Kill la Kill, which are like older-ish, but still not that old. So.
Speed
Also,
Racer,
they're
that's anime.
HBO Max is getting Doctor Who.
Oh,
It's
okay.
getting Friends. It's getting The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I already mentioned South Park. I think it's pretty much going to wrap.
But
CW.
But in that commercial,
Mhm.
it says only select shows from each. So it doesn't mean we're getting all shows that have ever been on that channel.
True.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
like Cartoon Network, okay, I remember shows I used to watch like Dexter's Lab, Johnny Bravo, Courage the Cowardly Dog, like those.
Yo, fuck
things
Courage, dude.
in
That scared. That show scared the shit out of me.
Courage.
Yo, dude, fuck that show, man.
But yeah, that dog is
It was a
crazy.
creepy fucking show, dude.
Like
I
all
think
those
Courage
shows-
the Cowardly Dog was one of those that made me think animators were getting high before they came up with their
Fucking
ideas.
shrooms.
Okay, Brandon used to watch this
LSD,
show,
maybe.
Laszlo, I think. I
Last.
can't remember, but I was watching it, and I was in high school, and he was watching it, and they stopped. It was like all these like animals, and they were at a camp,
Mhm.
right? And they're walking through the woods, and there's a fork in the road, right? And the little monkey stops at the fork in the road. It's a pot leaf behind him. Not a bush, it's a pot leaf.
That's great.
And I was like, oh, they're totally getting high.
Yeah, yeah.
They're totally getting high. Like, they put it in their shows all the time.
Oh, by the way, the other thing about HBO Max, the same way these guys signed a $200 million deal with Netflix, J.J. Abrams signed with HBO Max. Basically, Warner Media. He's producing new content for Warner Media, and that's going to HBO Max. Plus, they got the whole DCEU movies that we already know. So, yeah, they're definitely trying. Basically, let's put it this way. They're trying to be a contender, way above, what's the Star Trek company again?
CBS.
Yeah, definitely. They're playing in better waters than CBS.
Yeah, no, CBS. They, I don't know what they were thinking because they're like, oh yeah, CBS All Access, and then they put out 2 shows, and they're both Star Trek shows, which I'm all for. I love me some Star Trek shows, but fucking what? Why is it CBS All Access? That's the dumbest. Like, no, like that was such.
Just some access.
Yeah. Yeah, so that, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for Picard in January, and then when season 3 of not Enterprise, what's the name called?
Probably
Discovery. When Discovery comes out, like,
So, it will have Cartoon Network, Warner Brothers, TNT, Adult Swim, TBS, CNN, Boomerang, True TV, which is basically just the Impractical Jokers channel.
Right.
DCE, the DC universe, and the one that I'm most excited about, New Line Cinema.
bless you. Which one's it?
New
What's
Line
it?
Cinema means that I can watch Home Alone
Uh,
and all of my '90s movies.
that's true.
I'm
New
just
Line.
kidding, guys. That's New Line Cinema is totally like, you remember the '90s where it's like
Yeah.
before the movie is like New Line Cinema did every '90s movie.
Nightmare.
They got Looney
Nightmare
Tunes
on
cartoons.
Elm Street.
They got Looney Tunes cartoons.
That's Boomerang.
They got Sesame Street. Oh.
Sesame Street belongs to HBO.
They got Boondocks.
That's Adult Swim.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they got Genlock. I signed up. I found. By the way, breaking news: PlayStation View is going out of business January.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay. So today I canceled. I'm like, what's the point of sticking around, right? It's ship sinking. I'm gone.
Right.
I canceled and I signed up with YouTube TV. And I'm like, what took me so long? Like, they got more stuff. It's tied into YouTube, so I can watch a movie and then go to stuff, and then they'll show me like related YouTube content, like videos, people discussing stuff. I'm like, wow, this is
pretty dope.
Yeah, man.
Dude, that sidebar on YouTube is not always a good thing. I spend so much time going down those damn YouTube holes.
Let's round out the show with this, because I've wanted to talk to someone about it. My wife won't let me talk about it. The weirdest shit you've seen on YouTube this week.
This week?
The weirdest stuff I've seen on
YouTube. Let me pull up my history and let's see.
Let me pull up my history.
I watch a lot of YouTube, so
I will start because it's Halloween week, guys. Halloween is tomorrow. All right, and if you're listening to it,
it is.
Halloween was yesterday. All right, so if you guys want to check it out, it's let me pull this up real quick. I will give you guys the guy that does these videos, and it is so crazy. If you guys want to check it out, it's super fucked up. Like,
I don't watch a lot of weird stuff.
You will have trouble sleeping. I'm telling you.
Oh, see, I don't. Oh, I know. Okay, go ahead. I got it.
Oh gosh. Mindset TV.
Oh, I know what mine is.
Yeah, Mindset TV. Or Mind Seed. Like, so Mind Seed TV. And it led me down this rabbit hole, right? Because I was like, oh, I want to watch like a ghost haunting thing or something. Led me down this dark web rabbit hole to this video. The guy buys a box off the dark web.
Oh shit!
Like, so he has to pay for it in Bitcoin. It gets sent to like a PO box.
Oh, I see. I found the video. Oh,
and the dude opens this box, and it's got like baby dolls and like all sorts of shit. Looks like they just put a crime scene in a fucking box. And then he opens up a jewelry box and dumps out teeth.
What the fuck?
He was like, fuck this. He was like, fuck this. I'm sending this box to the police. We're done. Like, fuck this.
Yo.
And it was like,
fuck.
Oh shit. And then, so of course I watched the next video, right? And he's like, yeah, we had to send that box to the police. Apparently, you know, this has been part of this ongoing investigation.
Holy
I was like,
shit.
Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
dude.
So then he just posted another video yesterday, and I'm going to watch that one too, because he's like, I don't want to do any more of these dark box videos, but I have to, because you guys are telling me that you won't, and I'm getting threats to my computer. And he shows a screenshot, and it's like, it almost looks like one of those error messages that pop up, like, you know, you have an error on your blah, blah, blah. But it's like a personal message directed at him. And he's like, there's some kind of virus on my computer, and I'm getting personal threats. And, you know, they're telling me I have to open another one. And it's like the most ridiculous shit. So you just watch it with an open mind. And you're like,
look, okay. Fuck. You guys know I don't do creepy shit anyways. I just literally clicked through this most recent video you were talking about with the sound off. I have fucking goosebumps, and I couldn't hear anything, but just watching him go, and like I have too vivid of an imagination, and I know a little bit too much about the dark web, and I'm like, yo, fuck this. No, dude, I am good.
So I think this is the third dark web box he's done.
Oh, dude, that's
and like
so creepy.
The first one had like little kids. Like a little kid's backpack with a name on it, and then they looked it up, and that little girl has been missing for like 2 years.
Yo, fuck that.
And he was like, fuck that. And then like he has another box where he opened it. Yeah, I went down a rabbit hole. It was fucking weird. But the shoes have like the initials for the missing girl on the back of the shoes.
Yo, hell no.
He was like, fuck this. And that's where he found the teeth in that box.
Fuck.
He was like, fuck this. Dude. I'm sending this to the police.
Nope.
Fuck this.
Nope.
Yeah, dude, I went down a weird rabbit hole for Halloween.
Nope.
But yeah, Mindseed TV, that guy, he's got a great channel. He actually does like tech reviews as well, and it's just a fun channel. The dark web shit is weird. I will tell you that. But he does like a lot of other stuff. So, all right, Tank, what's yours?
I'm not even gonna mistakenly go down that route. Like,
so, I found this.
Rue's gonna look up rainbows and unicorns.
I think Tank's gonna be better than mine, so I better just maybe go before Tank.
Go for it.
There's two things. The first was, you know those guys who do the VFX stuntman react and VFX artists react videos and such?
Yeah.
I was looking at one of those and somebody mentioned something funny about Mike Tyson. And I found somebody who did a compilation of videos of rap stars and celebrities telling crazy stories of their encounters with Mike Tyson. And all kinds of crazy things he did. Like everything from a guy who's Charlie Murphy, the late Charlie Murphy, talks about how he was at a party. He went to Tyson's house, and there's like a long line of limousines in the front yard. No one's getting out. And he's like, why is everybody getting out? Apparently, Tyson's lion was running free in the yard. Yeah. And nobody wanted to come out. And Mike Tyson was standing at the top of the stairs in front of his house with his heavyweight championship belt around his waist. Going, don't y'all want to play with my kitty? What's up? Come on out, everybody. And everybody like, no.
You do a great Mike Tyson, by the way.
That was actually pretty good.
Like, yeah, you play my kitty, yeah? They're like, nope, and they all stayed in the car for a long time till he finally came and let him caught, and he was actually wrestling with the lion. And like, yeah, no, this was Tyson at his best, like back in the day. I'm like,
I think Mike Tyson would be a great guy to hang out with.
Hey, I actually subscribe to his podcast. He has a podcast now on YouTube. So I'm like, okay.
I don't think I would subscribe to that.
Well,
I'll hang out with him for sure.
He interviewed Steve-O. Apparently, he and Steve-O met because Steve-O heard there was a party at this house, and he just knocks on the door, and Tyson opens the door. He's like, Tyson himself. He's like, hey, man. And he's like, can I come in? And Tyson's like, just punches him in the head and pulls him in and says, you got any cocaine? And Steve-O like, yeah. And he and Tyson go sit for 3 hours smoking cocaine in the bathroom. Just talking about anything. That's the first time he met Mike Tyson.
That's insane.
Would you let Mike Tyson punch you in the head?
Could you stop Mike Tyson from punching you in the head?
Move at this point in my life.
I mean, now, no. But
in his prime, no, you can't stop him. But
that's kind of my point, right? No, so yeah, that's I went down that rabbit hole. Ended up somewhere around the SNL video of Jim Carrey family reunion, where everybody at SNL basically plays Jim Carrey. So that's been the two high points of my weirdom right there. Like Tyson hugs a lion, Jim Carrey family reunion. That's it.
Don't worry, Naru. I'll send you that dark box video.
No, not clicking it. Trust me. I know my limits, and I'm not even going to mistakenly put myself in the crosshairs of that shit. Thank you.
That dark web shit is weird.
Yes, that's why it's called the dark web.
All right, Tank.
So, like, the weirdest thing is, as I just said, I steer clear of that corner of YouTube. But I found this article on Facebook talking about this, this like haunted house thing, and basically like they'll pay, like you can essentially win, I think it's like $10,000 or $20,000 if you can make it 10 hours in this haunted house. But like you can't cuss, you can't run, you can't touch anybody, but basically they can do everything to you, and you have to you have to go get a physical. You have to sign this like 20-page release form. You have to like create a safe word. You have to do all this shit, and including you have to watch this 2-hour video on their website. That basically the whole video is telling you don't come do this, and they have people who have done it and couldn't get through it, and the fucking state of these people is insane. They're like, I saw one person, they're like in this like chest high water, this like muddy embankment in this water with this like bag over their head that is obviously soaked, and they like pull the bag off and they're like, no, I'm fucking done. People who had like clothespins all over their mouth and they were like completely like glitter bombed. Like the shit, it's not a haunted house. It's literally like this it's like an exercise of like how much shit can you put up with. And like watching and like hearing some of these stories, I was like, yo, fuck that. I don't do haunted houses when they can't touch you. And I was like, yo, fuck this. No.
They can touch you, but you can't touch them.
To win the $10,000, you have to make it 10 hours. And then the couple rules for the money. Can't cuss, can't run. And yeah, you can't like kind of like, I'm assuming you can't like bat them off. Like they're like, from what I can tell, they're like fucking putting you in like coffins and putting you underwater and shit and like throwing glitter. Like it was some fucked up shit. And I was like, yo, no, this is some stupid shit. No.
Do you get $1,000 an hour?
No, I don't think so. I think it's all or nothing because he said no one's been paid. No one has made it.
They can't kill you.
No, but the people who, dude, I'm not really scared of like when it comes to like those like phobias. I'm not really scared a whole lot. Drowning is like the only thing that like really gets in my head. And so when I saw the one person who's in like chest high water with the wet bag over their head, like I was like, no, like that literally like made my heart like I started sweating. I was like, fuck this, dude. There's no way.
Like, I am the worst person to ever go to a haunted house. Like, they hate me at haunted houses, and my wife always she put me in the front, like in front of her. She's like, oh yeah, but whenever I'm in the front, it's like I walk and I've got problems. But when I go into a room, I immediately check dark corners.
Yeah.
I check corners, I check angles, I check like windows, I check doors, I check alleys, I check like literally everything because that's the way my mind works. So if you're in a haunted house, you're gonna hide in the dark corner. Yeah. So like as soon as I enter the room, I see you. Like I see you before you see me.
Yeah.
And they just look at me with this face.
Like, damn it, really? Yeah.
So I always like point like two behind me, like 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 who would yell the loudest or whatever. Like don't waste it on me. Behind me, Naru's back there. Like that's.
You're wrong, because I wouldn't be at all. Like I wouldn't be. I wouldn't have even shown up to. Like I wouldn't have gotten in the car to leave to go there. Like it's just not gonna happen.
Straight up. Right?
It's haunted houses are like. I understand why, and I love hearing other people scream. Like it makes me laugh.
Because you're
like I just
fucked up in the head.
Time. But it's haunted houses, man.
Fuck
just
that
don't
shit.
get it.
I don't like being scared.
But like I wouldn't like one where they can touch me, but I can't do anything back. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's like this is a waste. Like I can't do anything to you.
Right. Like that's
now,
the whole.
I could fight back.
But it was called.
Because then it's like 10 hours of fighting.
Oh yeah, But it's called McCamey Manor, and there's one in Alabama and there's one in Tennessee. So if anybody's interested in looking it up, they have like a whole website and shit. It's fucking nuts. I was like, yeah, no, this is some. Because like my wife and like my brother love haunted houses, but even my wife was like, yeah, no, fuck that.
Nuri, you not doing it?
Hell no.
He's like, I'm not even watching the video.
No.
That shit was crazy.
I wouldn't even do it if you guys were the ones allowed to touch me. Like, and you, like, no. Like, no. It's not gonna happen. No. Like 10 hours of that? No. I don't have the patience for that kind of stuff. Yeah. I see no reason to put myself through that for 10 grand. No. Now, $10 million.
Maybe.
Maybe I'd be in. Like,
see, I can always make money. I don't know if I could like it's because then you have to spend. I'm gonna have to spend 4 of that on fucking therapy to get me back on track, anyways. So
I'm already fucked up. Whatever.
That
me and my buddies waterboarded ourselves for fun one time. So I mean,
what fuck, dude? See, I don't do drowning, so there's no fucking way I would have done that.
Waterboarded yourself for fun. Yes.
Like. I'll say this, and then this is going to be the last creepy thing. You don't really know, like, how long you can hold your breath, but, like, right before you pass out, you start to see things. I see polka dots before I pass out. So that's how I know, like, hey, Jason, you're about to pass out. Otherwise, it's just a game. But on that note, hey, guys, tell them where to find you.
Not hanging out with Jason in his free time, for sure.
That's for damn sure.
But you can find me all over the internet at The Caped Critic. And tune in probably the beginning of next year. I think we're gonna have some pretty cool new content start coming out for the channel. That should start be pretty good. So just keep an ear out. Maybe we can drop some hints and some teasers as we get a little closer to it. So.
I would also say it's probably not for the channel, but more for the network. It'll be a new show for the network.
Yep.
So we'll still have the Nerds from Work, but there will be a new show coming to the network probably next next year, 2020.
Yeah.
Da.
So yep.
That's where they can find him. Anyway, you can find me at Naru, the Nerd Guru, on Instagram and Twitter. I, as a very straight up, safety point going forward, will never hang out with Jason alone in my spare time, because you never know when he's going to decide that I'm the person he wants to remember how he used to waterboard people with. So I'm going to just stay here, as far away from this crazy sumbitch as I can.
Let me put it this way. I've never beaten Jason in a fight. He wouldn't stand a chance. That's all I'm saying. That's all. I'm just going to leave it at that.
I like to practice arm bars with my wife.
That tells you all you need to know about this guy right there. And I will be doing this remote from now on. Like, I will attend every other event. Like, I'm doing Dragon Con remote next time. I don't trust this guy anymore. God knows what he might think of. Like, seriously. Waterboarding himself for fun.
I had this new bit. Hear me out. Like, fucking get out. Just leave. No.
Guys, just wait until you hear next year's game. All right, guys. You guys can find me at Houdini0333 on Instagram and the old tweet machine. Hey, you can find all of us at The Nerds From Work on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Nerds From Work. And I think we have a website too, TheNerdsFromWork.com. That's our network website. So soon we'll have the Blazing Defender on there, and next year we'll have our new show on there as well. You guys can read our biographies and links to all of our social media and our Patreon on TheNerdsFromWork.com. Hey, from all of us here at the workplace,
Peace.
peace. Hands down,